He noticed it by accident, the way most patterns reveal themselves not through logic, but through repetition, not something you look for, but something that insists on being seen. The window of the apartment across the narrow courtyard, directly facing his own living room, had always been unremarkable: closed blinds, dusty panes, a faint reflection of the stairwell light when the evening was quiet. The apartment, as far as he knew, had been empty for months, maybe longer. No sound ever came from it. No movement. The mailbox downstairs remained taped shut with a faded note from management, the kind no one bothers to remove. No deliveries. No visitors. Just stillness. But one night, as he sat on his couch reading, eyes drifting upward from the page, he saw the light, a sudden blink through the slats of the opposite blinds, sharp and brief, then gone. He might have ignored it, but then it blinked again. This time faster. Then a pause. Then a longer flash. He didn't recognize the pattern at first, but the rhythm triggered something low in his brain, like music heard too far to follow but close enough to tap your foot. He got up, moved closer to the window. The light blinked once more. Short. Short. Long pause. Then again. It wasn't random. He found a Morse code chart online. Compared the flashes. The message that night was simple: hello. He stared for a long time after it stopped. Thought of all the possible reasons: maybe a trick of a faulty bulb, maybe someone new had moved in and was testing wiring, maybe someone watching a movie with strobing effects near the window. But the angle didn't make sense. The flashes were too precise, too direct. They faced him. He waited the next night. Nothing. The window stayed dark. The third night, again nothing. On the fourth night, at 2:12 a.m., the blinking returned. Are you there? He didn't respond. Couldn't have, even if he wanted to. He had no way of sending anything back, no light bright enough, no system in place. He closed the curtains and sat in silence, trying to ignore the rising feeling that someone, or something, across the courtyard was expecting acknowledgement. He stopped opening the curtains before bed, not out of fear, but out of something quieter and harder to name, a reluctance that had more to do with the pressure of expectation than with actual dread. It wasn't just the blinking that unsettled him, it was the fact that the rhythm never felt like a malfunction or accident, never anything mechanical or broken. The patterns were too thoughtful, too clean. Someone, or something, was choosing the words. And those words, even if brief, carried weight not because of what they said, but because of the certainty that someone was on the other side waiting for him to read them. He started setting alarms at 2:05 a.m., long after the city had gone to sleep but before the blinking usually began. He never fell asleep deeply anyway, not anymore. The silence of the apartment, once comforting, had begun to feel staged, like something pressing its face against a pane of glass just out of view. On the sixth night, the message read, "Why don't you answer?" He stood at the window, back in the shadows, watching the stuttering light repeat that phrase over and over with mechanical patience. It never flickered outside the pattern, never hesitated or sped up, the timing perfect each time. He wrote it down in a notebook, circled the letters, underlined the phrases. And yet every night, even without the chart, he could feel the meaning in his chest before translating. The language was already seeping in. He considered buying a flashlight, something strong enough to signal back, maybe mounted on a stand and send a response. But he never did. Part of him didn't want to encourage it. Part of him didn't want to make a mistake, say the wrong thing, give the wrong impression. Because he knew, without needing proof, that once a conversation started, it wouldn't stop. The 11th night, no message came. No light. He stared at the window until morning, blinds closed, no flicker. He should have been relieved. He wasn't. The 12th night, it returned. You closed the curtains. Not a question. Not an accusation. Just a statement. But one that proved it, whoever was behind the signal wasn't guessing. They saw him. Knew when he was watching. Knew when he wasn't. He opened the curtain slowly. The building across the courtyard was silent, the window blank. He tried to count how many steps it would take to reach the opposite stairwell, how many turns through the halls, how many seconds in the darkness to reach that room. But the more he thought about the layout, the more his sense of distance began to twist, as if the other apartment wasn't across from him anymore, but underneath, or above, or somewhere adjacent to the building itself, like a parasite attached to its outer wall.